I'm so excited that our friend, sports betting host and analyst Meghan Payton could join Green Dot Daily today. You know her from Action Island. What's up, Meghan?
How you doing, Maria? We've got a great AFC preview. We're talking about two elite quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. This is going to be a fun one to dive into.
Absolutely. And this is the dilemma that I've been facing. I want to bet the Ravens against the spread. I believe that is the play, but I wish that I bet it when it was -3. The line has moved to 3.5. It might even move more. And it's just given me a little bit of pause. I feel like the Patrick Mahomes aura is just overshadowing this one a little bit. How do you feel about it?
I have a little pause too, Maria, with the spread, but everything is lined up for the Ravens in this one. It feels like coaching is there. You're talking about the MVP of our league, Lamar Jackson, who is nearly impossible to contain. It's the impossible throws that he has, but then also the way that he can step up in the pocket. He can take off and run for 30 plus yards. He is so good at disguising different ways. And then the other thing with the Ravens is their defense is so incredible. Best defense in the NFL, led by Roquan Smith. And when you've got a team that can pursue and tackle better than anyone in the NFL, it's got to give some trouble to Patrick Mahomes in this offense. And it's funny because I feel like the more that I talk about the Ravens, the more I look at the stats, the more I'm convinced I got to take them at -2.5. You wish that it was 3. You wish you were getting that extra, but on it, or 3.5, that is. You wish you were getting it at 2.5, but you got to go with it. But one bet, Maria, that I have been really strong on, it's Lamar Jackson over his rushing yards, 64.5. We've seen Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson play against each other 4 times. He's gone over this in 3 of them, 107 the last time they played. And guess what? Lamar Jackson just had 100 rushing yards in the last out. This is where he's so good and he makes tackles miss. And I really like him to clear this line.
Well, I'm pretty happy to hear you say that because it kind of goes hand in hand with a bet that I did make, and that was Lamar Jackson anytime touchdown at +120 odds. Really what it comes down to is the matchup. Kansas City defense, 18th against the rush in the regular season, and in the bottom half of the playoff field, the numbers are even more grim when you look at DVOA. And then Baltimore, conversely, has the best rush attack in the NFL. And Lamar Jackson is a big reason why. He just gives them another dimension. And so the Kansas City D is just going to have to pick their poison a little bit. And look, I don't hate that he found the end zone twice last weekend on the ground, maybe a little warm up here. He's the MVP, and to win and win handily, like, he's going to have to do MVP things. So that's the bet that I did go ahead and make for that matchup.
How is this plus money? Lamar Jackson to get in the end zone in the playoffs. The
I
books,
was thrilled.
like the books knew, I feel like last week, and it kind of shortened from what it was in week 18. It's like, all right, Lamar in the playoffs, he's going to get in the end zone. And of course, it happens twice. The good thing about Lamar Jackson is there's no reason you're protecting him anymore. You're in the playoffs. Health is not a factor, and he can score from anywhere on the field. They're going to use him on the goal line. Yeah, of course. But he can also take off running at the 30-yard line and boom, take it to the house. Plus money on the Lamar Jackson touchdown feels like maybe one of the best bets we're going to get in this game.
Well, I'm glad I have your endorsement. And one other little nugget I want to mention that I saw, which kind of like made me think about this, was from our friend Gilles Gallant. And he tweeted about this, saying in each divisional round game, the player with the shortest odds to score a touchdown did actually find the end zone. So that's what we got. But we have to turn our attention to the NFC Championship now. Another good one. The Lions at San Francisco, home team laying 7. What are your thoughts on this matchup?
Maria, can we first discuss how we're going from Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson to, all right, let's talk Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. Now, I do think that there's a little bit of extra hate that are coming towards these two quarterbacks. No, they're not in the same category as the elite. I look at this game as Niners have the edge here in pretty much every category. Talk about Christian McCaffrey. He's your do-it-all running back, should be in the MVP talks. And then the defense, though, is the key factor here on why I like the Niners to probably cover and definitely win. They are so dynamic. They've got Nick Bosa leading. They're going to attack the quarterback really quickly. And then they've got good corners that are really going to try to shut down Jared Goff and their passing attacks. Meanwhile, the Lions are giving up bottom numbers in yards per game in the passing game, which is not going to do well when you're going up against an elite Niners offense. However, what's the X factor here? It's Deebo Samuel dealing with that left shoulder injury. It's Wednesday. We still don't know if he's going to play. And I'm not saying that he's worth like 4 or 5 points, but if Deebo Samuel's out and this line stays at -7, I am hammering Lions +7 because that's how important Deebo is to the Niners. He leads the league in yards after catch per reception. He's your do-it-all receiver / running back, and the Niners are not going to be able to use all their different weapons the same way if Deebo's not in there. The game plan completely shifts, and I think that the Lions can match up offensively with them. Maybe they don't get the win, but I like them to cover if Deebo's going to be out.
It makes a lot of sense. And I'm seeing reports today that Deebo Samuel is not practicing because his shoulder hurts. So that is just kind of making me lean even more toward the Lions, especially when you consider that the 49ers struggled last week. And I believe that they are overvalued given their overall performance, and including on the defensive end. I do wonder as well about this coaching matchup. A more conservative Kyle Shanahan, is he going to be exposed again against a more aggressive Dan Campbell? But full disclosure, I have not bet this yet because, to your point, Detroit's secondary has definitely been vulnerable to those explosive pass plays.
Yeah, that's the big question mark there. Is even if you look at the box score with the Bucs-Lions game, the Lions were the better team in the second half, but they allowed Baker Mayfield to throw for over 300 passing yards. You can't do that against a Niners offense. If Brock Purdy comes out there and starts throwing these 30-plus yard plays, there's no way that the Lions are going to be able to keep up with that because the Niners defense is so much superior to them. So that's another little lean that I have too, is Brock Purdy over his passing yards going up against this struggling secondary that the Lions are with right now.
And something to consider about the Niners as well, even if they don't have Deebo, they're going to be more prepared for it this time.
Yeah.
Which get the benefit of having that preparedness last week. Okay, let's have some fun to close out this segment because you typically host Action Island where we build parlays. What's a parlay that you're cooking up for this weekend?
All right, Maria, here's our Wednesday way too early parlay, but let's have some fun. Let's make some plus money here. We're going to stick in this Niners-Lions game, and I'm going to go with Jahmyr Gibbs over 22.5 receiving yards. Gibbs has been that elusive, explosive running back for Detroit, and one area he's really good in, and those quick check down throws, take off, patient, go off, and run. And one thing about Detroit is, in the second half last week, they started throwing the ball nearly every first down. You look at the stats, it was wild. And they're going to be going up against a Niners defense that's going to create a lot of pressure, which means that Jared Goff is going to have to release the ball quick. And Jahmyr Gibbs is that guy that's there, right there, check down, go off, run, 22.5. It feels like a good number there. I also like Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. I'm partially biased because I was all over David Montgomery last week, and he was the one running back that didn't get in the end zone. So I'm switching up this week. Jahmyr Gibbs, same reason almost as Lamar Jackson. He can score from wherever on the field. They're going to give him the ball near in the red zone, but they're also going to give it to him 30 plus, and he can get in the end zone from there. So I like Jahmyr Gibbs over his receiving yards. Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. And we talk about how to boost a parlay. Well, let's go Niners to win the game. It's crazy how these uncorrelated bets you'll call end up giving you a big boost. But one thing that I've learned from the Action Island team is that sometimes they're really not that uncorrelated. I see points in this game. I see Niners winning this game regardless. And I also see some receiving yards and some touchdowns from Jahmyr Gibbs. So you parlay that together, you're at plus 418. And that's my little preview for this Lions-Niners game.